All right, am I on? Okay, I made a presentation because I think it would help with the visual, so I'm going to share my screen. All right, want to give me a thumbs up if anybody sees my screen? Okay, perfect. Okay, so I will just get into, I'll let you guys know a little bit about myself before I get into the meat and potatoes. I started coaching in January of 2014, so about 2.5 years. I am a 4-star diamond coach, Success Club 10 All-Star legend. I've hit Success Club 10 every single month though, even after the 24 months. And I was a 2015 premier coach and founder of Team Synergy. I am 35 years old and I just got married in September, and I'm the pet parent of 2 Yorkies. And so for the last 19 years, I am still working there. I am currently a Department of Defense employee, but besides the 6 months that I deployed to Kuwait, it's not a very exciting job. It sounds much cooler than what it is. I'm in cubicle land, and I don't know if anybody has any experience working for the government, but they just have the most ridiculous policies and procedures and just ways of doing things. It's like pretty much like ass backwards. But anyways, that's why I love coaching, because it's so fun. And so I put down here, I was a former model with a passion for health and fitness, but besides modeling my entire life, I've always been promoting myself. So I was, whether it be in like a TV show or a radio, hosting a radio show or selling a calendar or anything like that. So that's where I pretty much had my that's where I was able to like get out my outlet for being an entrepreneur. But I've always had a passion of health and fitness. And so long story short of how I got into coaching, I just became a customer of Shakeology. I would buy it once in a while. Nobody ever got a Success Club point from me, but my coach saw that I was really good at, like, you know, in my posts, getting people to get involved with what I was doing, whether it was buying a calendar I was in, watching a TV show that I was in, or just whatever. I was good at getting people involved with what I had going on. And then she noticed that when I wasn't posting about that, I was posting about health and fitness. So I was one of those people that she invited me to the opportunity, like literally for 9 months. I was a no, not right now. So I started off as a customer of Shakeology. I've lost 40 pounds and kept it off. That wasn't with Beachbody. I don't claim that it is, but I do like showing people that I am, behind that professional picture, I'm a regular person, just like everybody else. So I feel like bringing on new coaches and getting them excited and getting them immediately like doing their activities is super, super important to like give them guidance. And, you know, I feel like I'm very good within my whole coaching career, I'm very good at distinguishing what my weaknesses are and what my strengths are. And I've always told myself, whenever I find like, you know, something that's my weakness, I'm not going to let that deter me from my goals of what I want with this business. So I use that as like a catalyst to like become resourceful and try to figure out ways, how can I make my weaknesses not necessarily a strength, but not so much a weakness anymore. So I found that I had a weakness of like, when I brought on new coaches, how do I get them started right? But one of my great strengths as a coach was running challenge groups. So I was like, how do I find a way to sort of marry the two? Because I'm really good at running challenge groups. And so the goal of my 5-day Coach Basics Blitz training is to teach new coaches the daily disciplines, such as forming, inviting, adding to your network, presenting the coach opportunity, and getting them, with the daily activities. And it also recognizes the competitive coaches that are on the team. And in these groups is where I see who wants to run and who I'm going to work with, because it's not a lot of my personally sponsored, like, I don't know if you saw on, I posted on the Mastermind group, the only coaches that I have that are hitting Success Club right now are from 2014. But I have coaches that have signed up coaches that are signing up coaches, and I'm trying to figure out who in there wants to work the business, and I am going to work with you. So that, because we make it a contest. So as I was going to say, we make it a contest because in our challenge groups, we make it a contest as well. So I was like, this is my way to sort of infuse it, because I feel like Beachbody was built on challenge groups. That's how we find a lot of our coaches. So why not make the coach training a challenge group format as well? Because it's what they know, it's what they're familiar with. So how I usually do it, so it's 5 days. And so, you know how they have like, you know, that Power of Threes daily activity tracker? I don't want to overwhelm people and be like, do 3 of each of these things every single day. So it sort of builds on each other. So the first day, you know, you get points for how many forms you send out. So I'm not going to say, oh, right away, right off the bat, just start inviting. I want to like ease them into it. So the first day, you're just going to, you know, talk to people, you know, form, family, occupation, or whatever, and all of that. And then what they're going to do is they screenshot their forms and post them in the group. And I just count up how many are putting in there each day. So it's keeping them accountable. Also, it's a great way for the other coaches that are being a fly on the wall to see like what other people are writing, like if there were some good conversations going and stuff like that. So then on Tuesday, the addition is to add to your network. How many friends? And, you know, I post, these are the pictures that I actually post. I'm like, day 2, you know, I post a picture of, you know, the friend show. And I have people screenshot how many friends they had at the beginning of the day, and at the end of the day, screenshot again. And, you know, the winner for that day is whoever was able to get, you know, as many people to add them. So it's just getting them in these daily habits. So then on day 3, it's challenge group invitations. And then they also have to do the other things too. It's building upon them. So on day 3, they're also forming, adding to the network, and inviting. Because I want to make it fair for people to win at the end of the week. So for the people that don't have as many friends to invite to, well, they can, you know, add a shit ton of people to their network, or they can send out even more forms. So I'm trying to make it, you know, fair for the people that, you know, don't have a lot of friends yet. And then on day 4, it's the coach opportunity invitations. And that's how I do them. And then every day I'm posting examples of what they could be saying. And on day 5, it's all about following up. So those are the ways that I do the points, and then what people should be doing each of those days. So what do I post in the group? So every morning I post daily videos. So on Sunday, I'm posting what to expect. So on Sunday, I'm posting a video and I'm saying, hey, look, every morning I'm going to be posting up a video. It's really important, winky face, to watch that video so you know what you're supposed to be doing for the day. So every morning I'll be like telling them that they're supposed to do their forms on Monday. But I'm also telling them what to post on their wall. So on Monday, it's going to be like a Monday motivation post. And then on Tuesday, when I'm saying, okay, now do add to your network, you're also going to either do like Tip Tuesday or Transformation Tuesday. On Wednesday, if you haven't already announced that you were a coach, you know, this is when you're going to announce that you're a coach. Thirsty Thursday, obviously it's going to be like about Shakeology. So I'm not only giving them daily tasks that they're going to do, I'm also giving them what they should be posting that day as a coach. And then another part of it is when they screenshot their post on their Facebook timeline, post it in the group, and then every coach that is in that group that is friends with that person is going to go and comment and like that person's post. Because I don't know who here is super if he knows how Facebook works, but I know how Facebook works from before I started coaching. So the more likes and comments that a post gets, the more reach it gets with the rest of their friends. So we're all working together like a little team, that like whole group. We're liking and commenting and showing each other what we're posting and getting ideas from each other. And then in my morning videos, as you can see what my, the screen thing that it picked, I'm not saying like, okay guys, on Monday, we're gonna reach out to our friends and we're gonna talk about their babies. I'm saying, all right, Monday, let's go shoot the shit with some of our friends and go post something that's gonna motivate the crap out of your friends. So I'm getting them excited because this is supposed to be fun. They got involved with this because maybe their life is not fun and this is the area of their life where it's fun. So my morning videos are always like hyping them up for the day so that they are ready to work. And then I always post my personal examples. So on the days that it's forming, I'm posting my forms too. Posting examples of invites, coach ops, how to follow up, like all verbiage that I use. And then along with that, so that's like all sort of like the morning part. And then I'll have like 3 or 4 different posts during the day, the coach basic stuff. Like not the boring stuff, but this is what Success Club is. This is the coach relations telephone number, all of that stuff. But it's all that stuff that if you weren't having the fun part, it would just be like boring and what are you really learning? But I'm putting that in there. What does it take to be an emerald? I'm putting all the regular coach basic stuff. Then I really go by this slogan: leaders don't tell you what to do, they show you how to do it. So like I just said, I am in there showing them that I'm in the trenches with them, that I'm not a 4-star diamond 2015 premier coach because I'm sitting here looking pretty. I am doing the work too, and I'm showing them that still 2.5 years in, I still have to do this stuff just like everybody else. So I'm showing them that we're all doing it together. And I take some of my best examples that have worked really well or ones that I'm doing on that day and post them in the group too. And then you have a winner and you announce the winner. So I did this one the first time that I've ever ran one of these groups, Team Synergy Coach of the Week. And, it's great for that new coach to get that sort of tag to their page to also help get their business booming. And it advertises for myself that I am bringing on new coaches and I am teaching them. So, I just made a post on my own timeline just now saying how I was so nervous to get on this call. I'm not nervous to get on this call, but I'm letting people, it was my sneak way to let people know that when you join my team, it's going to be fun. And guess what? I'm telling corporate how fun it is. So that was my way to get that message across. And so again, that was me also showing how fun and exciting this is. And that's my presentation. I'm going to stop my share. So I have no idea what you guys think of this, but
no, I love it. That was really good. I can tell you, I love your energy. I can tell why people stand up in your group. That's exactly what I've been going over. And so I do have some comments, but I do want to make sure that everybody else has a chance to chime in, either with questions or comments as to how they get engagement on their team and stuff like that. So take it away, somebody else.
And so if nobody has any questions right now, I do want to add, so I've only run that group twice because I've sort of kind of just thought of this. So I did it a few months ago and it was brand new to everybody. So even if somebody was already a coach, just like literally the whole team got in it. So it was like great. But then because the whole entire team got in it, I had to wait to get like a bunch of new people to run it again. And it was great because then it was like a smaller of a group, and it was, more you close or whatever. But it was great because people that need like an added accountability or a little kick in the butt to get their butt back in gear for, doing their business, you can join it. Even if you know Coach Basics already, that's really not why they're joining. They're not joining to learn what Emerald Rank is and its Success Club. They're joining just for accountability for doing their daily activities. So every time I run one, I'm going to open it up to the whole team. You could be a diamond coach if you want, and get in there.
So what, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. What training would you do after this? You may have said it because I was off the call and then back on, but so is this the first thing that you do for your coaches once they?
So I rotate because I get bored easily. It's the same thing with my groups. It's like sometimes I'll run a clean eating, sometimes I'll run a shake challenge. It gets boring for me as well. So I like alternate. So like back in the day, I used to do the regular Coach Basics without giving them the daily activities, the sort of like boring type of Coach Basics. And it's crickets in there the whole time. And that's boring to me. So that's when I was like, okay, how do I marry challenge groups and Coach Basics training together? So this was something not super newly developed, but simply like, it was only like maybe 4 or 5 months ago that I ran that. And so then I alternate. So if I don't have a ton of new coaches that would, get in there, I'll run a getting started right call. And so I just did that in lieu of doing the Coach Basics Blitz for this month, and I have like 10 coaches on that call. But then, now that they have all that like getting started right information, that when I post about doing the Blitz, they'll jump on it because, they have a little background of like how the Blitz works.
I find that like we have a new coach training, and it's not really, it has pieces of Coach Basics in it, and I guess essentially it's Coach Basics, but we've made it our own. And I find that people always start off really strong and then they start to fizzle out. So I think I'm being sneaky, and now I've divided it into 2 phases. So there's like the first 2 weeks, and if you show up every day and you complete your daily tasks, you get like brought into the second phase. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, you just don't move on. You know what I mean? Because when it's a month long, like I love this idea because I feel like anything that's 5 days, they always stick with it. Like anything that's short, they stick with it. But I guess like my issue is that when you're doing like Coach Basics, it requires, there's so much information that if people are working, full time and they only can dedicate like 30 minutes a day to it, it does go on for quite some time. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like, so when you do this training,
I would never make a training that long, just because I feel like this business is simple. You just talk to people. You don't need 30 days to tell a coach to talk to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know how to talk to people.
Right.
Not in like a lot of people, like I get screenshots all the time of conversations that people are having, and I'm like, like some people can easily talk to people. Other people, it could take, like we do 2 weeks of just like conversations.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Well, it's a lot. It's very time consuming, but in the end, they're really prepared. But it's time consuming. I'm just curious as to how other people handle it. If you do like the beach body from the online office, like the back office, the Coach Basics, it's long.
I'm sorry. Do you want to go ahead?
Go ahead.
I'll go first. We do a getting started right call with, if you're a diamond and above, if you can't do it with your own personally sponsored coach. So we do that first. We send 2 emails for onboarding where there is an interview where it just goes over that we're going to be having like a professional relationship at first. How much time can you commit to it? So we kind of go through that right off the bat, so you know if there's someone who's going to be like, you know what, I'm hitting the ground running, or I'm going to be someone who's going to need more time. They express some of their concerns of what they think might be difficult for them in the Getting Started Right call. And then after that, we place them into, we do a once monthly Coach Basics on our team, where it's 12 days. So it's not quite as long, but we've made personal videos about topics that we kind of feel are the most important as far as just getting people officially started. But in all honesty, I find if they're going to be like a ready to run kind of coach, they go and do all this on their own already. And so I think it really depends on the personality of the people, but we do have things in place for those people who need a little bit more time and information. And then after they complete that, if they've reached Emerald, we do immediately following an Emerald to Diamond training for the rest of the month. So that's kind of just how we've done it with our leaders. And once you hit Diamond, you're or above, you're one that can be running our Coach Basics. So we have kind of like a constant rotation of who's doing it, who's running it. So it's not you all the time. You could be doing the Emerald to Diamond, or you could be doing a lot of Getting Started Right calls. So it's kind of broken up so it doesn't become so repetitive for you, if that makes sense.
No, definitely.
Yeah, I do something very similar to what Jessica described, which is I use the 15 diamonds that are in my downline. And so we do run a Coach Basics. It's about 40 days, but it is split, kind of like you said, Courtney. I kind of trick them too. You either have to have committed and been part of the process. You don't just like continue on, and it's their uplines decision to pull them and have them restart the next month. But we start the first of the month every month, and it's a new diamond leader with an up and coming kind of leader, trying to show them how to lead. I think is kind of the other part is, as much as it's, and I can't stand Coach Basics. It drives me bananas. Like I just, like I did it. And I also think like you've got to give your team a duplicatable process, right? So that's like where I don't love Coach Basics. It's not good. I don't think it helps me. I think it helps them be able to have something to then teach. And then when they're a leader and they have their own team, they can kind of modify it just like Nadine's doing to make it work for them. But I give them this duplicatable thing. And I love coming up, like I love to like just do your exact thing, Nadine, for like 5 days. Just to kind of, like you said, refresh, bring everybody together and like do something different. But I always stick to the same framework. It's like Groundhog Day every month. It's boring as hell for me, but it's like my team knows when I bring somebody on, and I have a whole separate onboarding process. They have a link very similar to Jessica with an email and a coach questionnaire, and they have to do the coach online training before they get into Coach Basics. They have to have read the 45-second presentation, and they have to kind of be ready to go to learn more, know how to use their websites, and that kind of beginning-esque stuff. But getting fresh and excited, I think we all have to do, like, because I'm pairing up with Patty, and I'm running an Emerald Run group this month for the 5 weeks, trying to bring a bunch of Emeralds into Diamond status. And those people who are engaging are the ones that absolutely they can run a Coach Basics. I mean, these are not like brain surgery stuff, I mean, it's Hootsuite the stuff, put it in and help support them. As long as they're up and coming people, they can do it. So I think sometimes when you show someone that you trust them, you're creating this leadership too, and giving them an opportunity to run something maybe that they wouldn't have stepped out unless you were like, look, I need your help. Can you please, and just delegate. So it seems to work for my downline. Like Nadine said, like I'm the same boat. I could have been elite my first year when I was actually running. I just didn't have the 5, or I think it was 2-star at the time. Then they upped it to 5-star. So I had 2-star, but I had 3, I think. I didn't get the 5-star. And like this year, I have such depth. That's my struggle. I have to talk to Kevin about that. But I don't have these PS coaches doing the work. I have this massive downline that my one-on-one calls today we were 3 people who are not my personally sponsored coaches. You
Yeah.
know, there are people who are up and coming, they're in it, but there's a coach in between me and them that just doesn't have the fire, doesn't have the mentorship ability. And that's where I try to kind of bring them up and like, hey, run a Coach Basics. Hey, let's get you leadering so that I don't have to do all this too. So
Yeah, no, I'm definitely in the same position where it's like not right now. My super motivated coaches are not necessarily my personally sponsored coaches. They're like a few levels below. But I've been doing my one-on-one calls with them also. I was inspired by this group to do these one-on-one calls. And I've been doing it with like everyone else's coaches, but I feel they're what inspire me to keep going. So they're so thankful. And I'm like, no, I'm thankful for you as well. And this is a little side note. You said Hootsuite. Does anybody use Tiny Torch? You guys have to. If you are using Hootsuite, you have to check out Tiny Torch. It changed my life. Please, just do it.
I use Hootsuite.
But Tiny Torch is, if you're like into organization, Jessica, you would probably like it because you're a teacher. If you're into like files and organization, and if you're super visual, Tiny Torch it saves all of your posts and you can have them in all folders so that you could reuse them again with your same verbiage and with your same picture and everything. I don't know how I didn't know about it, but it is 7,000 times better than Hootsuite. Sorry, Kevin, took us on a little.
No, this is a great time to share best practices and things that you find. I have not heard of Tiny Torch, but the way you talk about it, that sounds like a heck of a time saver.
It's amazing. And if you can sign up for free also, and you can actually link 5 accounts to it, like 5 different pages, whereas Hootsuite's 3, I think, for free. And yeah, it really is a great, great, great tool. If you're into Hootsuite, I think this will improve your life drastically.
I used to Hootsuite and I hated it, and then somebody told me about Buffer, so I switched over to Buffer, and it does save your posts. I don't do enough. I should do more over on Buffer, but now I'm going to totally check out this Tiny Torch, so thank you.
Okay.
Cool. Well, hey, let's keep the conversation going. Anybody else have recommendations or questions? The topic of, I'm really, really loving the topic of having other people, teaching other people to lead their own Coach Basics. But I can't get away from Nadine's topic of, guys, making it fun. For you guys, it is repetitive. It is the same boring stuff, but to them, it's not. And if you come across as, like Nadine said, the same boring stuff, it's going to come across like that, and they're not going to have as much fun. They're not going to jump into this. I mean, they are changing their lives, and they're helping other people change lives. And that's a big deal. You guys have been in this business now for a couple of years now, and like, yeah, change lives. I got that, no problem. No, you're changing the world one person at a time, and that's a big deal. And that's why, not switching topics, but that's why personal development is so important. I can't stress personal development enough because, guys, if you're running out of content to say, if you're running out of inspirational stuff to say, do personal development. To be inspiring, you have to be inspired yourself. And the way you do that is through personal development. And then doing stuff like this, like, yeah, do change it up. But if you find something that works, stick with what works and keep doing that, with little modifications here and there. But I am loving the conversation. What else? What else do you guys have? We have 5 minutes. Let's take it up.
I wish I had 15 diamonds in my downline.
You will keep going. I mean, that's all I can say. You've only been at this 2 years. I'm going to be at my 4-year mark in a couple of months, like you will be. And especially with your leadership, I wish I was closer to elite than I am. Do you know what I mean? I think we all, don't compare yourself, like just work with what you've got and know that you have obviously you've got good people up and coming. And I created a lot I only have 4 or 5 that are personally sponsored, right? All the rest of them are coming from down deep. So just keep at it.
Yeah. One thing I did.
recruit more so I can have. That's my struggle.
One thing that I did want to mention that I haven't yet is everybody works at a different pace, and everybody, all your new coaches have different goals in mind. And yet sometimes our new coach basics or our trainings or our motivational stuff is at a certain pace that maybe doesn't match their pace. And so I think it's good to have different, it's first of all, we're in the business of relationships, and coaches, new coaches especially, will pick up very quickly if you are invested solely in numbers over people. And that's why it does take a little bit of effort, but getting to know the coaches on a one-on-one level and working at a pace that pushes them just this far above where they are at is exactly where it needs to go. Now that, for somebody, like you said, for people who are ready to go right out of the gate, there's not a whole lot of training you need to do. There's not, they got it. They're self-initiators. They want to, they're people like you, I'm sure, but everybody has to go through this marinating process, this baking process. And that's something I'm kind of passionate about right now, is making sure that everybody you guys talk to go through a transformation process, whether that is a physical, mental, spiritual, whatever it may be for them. They have to go through that before they start inspiring others. And I feel like what we're doing now is coaches, that we're kind of pulling them out of the oven half baked. And that gets me a little bit nervous. I feel like we're saying, okay, you're showing signs that you're going to be an awesome, delicious cookie, but I can pull you out right now. And they're just doughy. It's just not the good cookie or I don't know if cookies we should use cookies, but whatever we're cooking, it's just we're pulling them a little bit too early. We're pushing them a little bit faster. And then after 3 months, they quit. And, that makes me a little bit nervous, because you guys put so much effort into finding these people. And you put just as much effort into for somebody who does it long term versus somebody who does it 30 days to get them invested on the initial sign up. So make sure that whatever you guys do, and it does take effort, especially if you have a lot of people on your team that you're working with, but please work at a pace that is comfortable for them. Work and help them see that this is something they can do, rather than pushing your goals on them. They can get excited. They can become the leader. And I love, Tamara, what you're saying about getting people to lead their own, getting them to see that they are leaders. That's the baking process that I'm talking about. And when you guys do this, that's when the stress goes away, because this person now is fully baked, they're fully marinated, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So you can focus on other people, and they can run off and take their team in their own direction. But it does require faith, and it does require a little bit of hope and work, but it can be done. So Nadine, killer job. And everybody, thank you so much for a great call. Nadine, if you could please post that PowerPoint on our team page, we would really appreciate that. Some great points, great ideas. And my favorite part was keep it fun, keep it exciting. This is something that we're changing the world, and that's a big deal. So thanks to everyone. Who has next week? Next week, Caitlin?
No, I do.
You do.
I think I might be moving that day, so nobody knows where I'll be coming from, but.
Oh yeah, there you are. Hey, all right.
But I'll
Fun
be
business builders in monthly challenge groups. Awesome. So we'll look forward to that call. Thanks. Go ahead and post your goal for the week on there, and let's find ways to help up and coming leaders. And we'll see you guys next week. See ya.